Hello, fellow photographers. My heroes, and there are many of them, are photographers and artists who have influenced me over the years. And there are many. We won't cover all of them, but we will cover some of them. So let's get started. One of my early heroes was Muybridge. I discovered him in the late 1950s when I was studying architecture. I immediately went out and bought a camera, a used Rolly. This image of the horses galloping across the page was just incredible. I just was mesmerized by it. That image and the image of a guy shoveling or a pick, like a miner, just fascinated me. In the late 60s, I was teaching at PCA, Philadelphia College of Art. Now it's the University of the Arts. It was there that I met Ray Metzger. Ray Metzger was teaching photography. We became friends. He was a street photographer, but he also was exploring sequencing and multiple images. I have two pictures here of his. The first one that's up on the screen now is a street image of people crossing the street, but there are no heads on the people. It's just the shadow and the people walking. This image and others like it really influenced me. Additionally, he was doing these types of sequencing or just shadow images, which I found particularly interesting. Especially they were black and white, and there were positive, negative ground shifts, and this just played right into my design education. By 1971, I had begun to make diptychs and to combine images. Some of those pictures that I made in the early 70s wound up in a French photo magazine, along with some other photographers, one of which was Tetsu Okuhara. His images of Susan, which is what these images are called, were very interesting. The first one here is a portrait of Susan, but it's then broken up into, her face is in the middle, but then it's broken up into just her eyes or just her ears, or it was pasted together. It was a really marvelous image, and we became close friends, and we were friends until his death a few years ago. In this particular series, he continued to work with the same images all the time, and just piecing them together to make new images. There were other photographers that dealt with sequencing as part of their work. And I must give a shout out to those other photographers that influenced me. Another good friend of mine, Elliott Kaufman, was working with images, and this image on the screen now is of bicycle wheels and bicycles. It was really massive and completely jammed up with things and hard to get one piece out of it. But when you look at the whole thing, you realize that the images and the play between the background and the foreground are just draw you in. Other photographers who I was influenced by in that time were Dwayne Michaels, even Bresson, who was an early hero of mine, and Man Ray and Avedon. They all worked with multiple imagery at some time in their career. And what we all have in common is the search and for pushing the boundaries. So let me show you a few pictures of mine. In this picture called Checkers, it's of two different buildings that are on the same street. And I was able to measure the distance from the building to the curb. They were a couple blocks apart. One had a black background, the other had a white background. And in order to get things to be at the same scale, I had to do use some mathematics and a tape measure to make sure that they would match up. And also, the time of the day was very important. So if you'll notice, there are no shadows. I made sure that there was enough light. So this is a picture I did a couple years ago when I was in Rome. at the Capitol, and these are the Capitol stairs in Rome. I found the stairs to be a very good background. I hope this little journey about sequence photography is helpful to you guys. Thanks. See you next time.